Coding 101 The Kids Way is an educational program which teaches kids ages 7 to 12 years all about coding and how coding impacts their world. The aim of the program is to inspire kids to learn how to code through practical experiences and insights to career opportunities. This outline was developed by Smart Kids Educational Club on behalf of Tambourine Learning for the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica.
Welcome to another episode of Coding 101 The Kids Way. I'm Cece the Robot. I'm on my way to visit my Aunt Java and my cousin Encrypt. But if you're new here, I simplify coding so we all can understand. We've talked about coding and game development so far, so go check out those videos on our YouTube page at PBCJamaica. This week, it's all about my family and I. Hint, hint. Yeah, you guessed it. What is robotics? But what is robotics really? Well, as our Aunt Java would say...
Hi, Cece. Robotics is an interdisciplinary branch of computer science and engineering. Robotics involves the design, construction, operation, and the use of robots. The goal of robotics is to design machines that can help and assist humans.
Wow, that's a great way to put it, Aunt Java. We are a family of robots, and we were created, designed, manufactured, and operated from the engineering of robotics. The objective of the robotics field is to create intelligent machines like me that can assist humans in a variety of ways.
Hey, Cece. Don't forget that robotics give us the ability to take on a number of forms. A robot may resemble a human, or we may be in the form of a robotic application, such as robotic process automation, which simulates how humans engage with software to perform repetitive, rules-based tasks.
Yeah, thanks for that, Encrypt. And remember that to function, a combination of computer programming and algorithms, a remotely controlled manipulator, actuators, control systems, processing and perception of real-time sensors, and an element of automation helps to inform what a robot or robotic system does. Yeah! As my robot family and I become more social, humans will encounter more of us robots, especially in the service industry.
At first, humans encountered robots by means of telecommunications, and it has become harder for them to distinguish us robots from humans. And eventually, robots will replace more service jobs like waiting tables. It's being done in Beijing as we speak.
That's right, Cousin Encrypt, but unlike human waiter, a robot server will have all kinds of information about you before you even tell it what you want. Because robots will be connected to the internet, they will be able to access all the information that's available about you online to predict what you may like to order. There are many other ways robots enhance our lives, like robotics in public security, education, or homes, or jobs. It even creates jobs, the cars that we drive. Healthcare robotics. Simply put, it boosts our standard of living. Robotics for kids falls under the umbrella of STEM education. This will help you guys learn how to program, design, and make your own robots. This will show you the link between code and action while building mathematical thinking and problem-solving skills. And we'll be back with more information on STEM from a robotics engineer. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm Cece the Robot. Before the break, some of my family and I shared some bits about us. But as you know, it doesn't end there. I'll be interviewing a robotics engineer in this episode. Hi, Godiva Golding, what's up? My mini coders and I have a few questions we want to ask you about robotics. Can you explain to us what a robotics engineer does?
Hi, Cece. Very happy to tell you. Now, I want you to think about factories, and then I want to think about cars. What do factories and cars have in common? Where do they meet? They meet right in the middle, where machines in factories put together all the cars that you see on the road now. And what we do as robotics engineers is to design the machines that put together cars, but it's not just that. It goes from everything to bottling pepper, to making phones, to making laptops, anything that involves a machine that is going to run code and designing in a system that is going to be producing some sort of supply. Robotics engineering is involved in all of that.
Why is learning robotics important for us kids today?
Very good question. And I want to tell you that you already have the answer. So you came here with your friends, right? And friends always work and play together. So robotics is one of those ways for young people like yourself to actually learn teamwork. And you learn all these other technical skills that will allow you to thrive in the next 30 or 50 or 100 years. So let's pray that we make it to that.
What skills does robotics support in the STEM classroom?
The STEM classroom is very vast, but it all goes back to one simple idea that you can take a concept, take a problem, really, really dive into it. So think about using a magnifying glass. And I want you to think of your STEM classroom as a puzzle or a problem that you're trying to solve. What you're doing by learning robotics is taking a magnifying glass, looking at a problem very, very closely, and then from there, you're coming up with your own solutions. So it has all of the engineering skills in there, but what it teaches you most is how do you think through your problems, step by step by step by step. And you start off with very solvable problems, very simple problems, and then you go way out into very complex problems. And again, you learn to solve those problems with your friends.
How does learning robotics for kids help them master the skills of tomorrow?
So when we think about tomorrow, we think about the future, we have no idea what the future holds, Cece. We don't know what jobs are going to be there. We don't know what sort of problems we're going to have. But learning robotics now helps you to gain the skill sets to make you really, really competitive globally. So when you're going into the working world, and you think, what are the life skills and social skills and the things that I want to learn so I can stand out and be my very best? Robotics is helping us to master those skills today so that we'll be ready for tomorrow.
What do you think are the biggest challenges facing the robotics industry?
So we can think about the biggest challenges in the robotics industry in two ways, right? We can think about what are the people problems or the people challenges, and like what are the technical challenges. So one of the things that we want to learn as robotics engineer is how to work with people. Collaboration is very, very important, and it's a skill that we always encourage building as young as possible. Also, project management skills. So these things together, collaboration, project management, allows us to create some sort of magic within robotics. And not many persons have these skills sometimes, which is why it's really important to learn these skills so that you can thrive. On the technical side, there are so many interesting problems to solve step by just working them through. There are issues in terms of hardware, issues in terms of software and AI. What do we use? What do we call to be ethical AI? You know, how can we be fair to people when we are using robotics? Are we going to use it in a way that will harm people? Are we going to allow humans and robots to collaborate together? How do we think about that very, very human element, even when we're making these technical decisions? So sometimes it takes a bit of slowing down to really realize some of the challenges in the industry. But one thing is for sure, there's always going to be a problem to be solved, Cece.
Uh-huh. Describe the role that programming plays in the design and development of computer systems.
Robotics is a very broad field. You have to think about mechanics. How do things move? We have to think about programming. How do we give instructions to a computer? We have to think about hardware, and we have to think about electronics. How do we put together the wires, the chips, all of these things to just ensure that we have a functional prototype? Remember that word we said earlier? Prototype. Now, putting all of this together in a complex system, programming as one of those components allows us to just give instructions. So our software engineering is helping us to solve problems on the business side that the computer or the machine that we're programming will be able to understand. And we put it all together, and then we start to talk about robotics as a whole.
What's your experience with artificial intelligence, AI?
Well, Cece, I want to tell you that you also have some experience with AI. You have experience with AI when you're looking at YouTube videos, when you are using Google searches, when you're checking out your favorite game on the App Store or on the Play Store. All of that is already using AI. For us, using AI is really about how do we stay on the cutting edge. So we use AI for two things. We use it to predict how people will behave, and we also use AI to classify things. So how do we put things together in little groups of similar traits, similar characteristics, and how can we say, yeah, based on all of these things that have happened, I bet the next thing that will happen is this. So we predict things, and sometimes we classify things using AI.
How similar to humans should robots become?
Remember earlier when we mentioned ethics? Now, the question of how similar should robots and humans become is going to be dependent on us. We get to decide, should a humanoid robot exist? If I use a robot to clean my house, should that robot look like me, or should that robot look like a machine? Or even when we talk about using Alexa or Siri or even Google Assistant, is it supposed to sound like me? Is it supposed to sound like a woman? We get to decide. And we have to also think like, what are the questions are we going to ask ourselves when we're deciding, should humans and robots look alike or become alike? And it's going to be dependent on how comfortable do we feel. So maybe now it's not as comfortable to speak to a box, but if you had a human face, you might feel a little bit more comfortable. It all is going to depend on how will people react. So the one last thing that I'll say, as an engineer, you're always testing things out, and you're always remembering that you're not designing for yourself. You're designing for people. You're designing for people with real emotions, real feelings, real concerns. And so whenever we design prototypes, whenever we design robots, we always remember we're not designing for ourselves. We're not just designing for technical problems. We're designing for people.
Wow, how exciting! I'm not going into overdrive, but thanks, Godiva, for joining us. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back, mini coders. For those who've missed it, my name is Cece the Robot. Earlier, we discussed a whole lot about robotics, and we even talked to a robotics engineer named Godiva. Our friends over at DIY Builder is about to show us how to make a simple and easy Arduino robot. Let's go! coders. And remember, I'm Cece the robot who helps kids to code. See you next time.